everyone, it's Marie here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm playing with the Happiness Captured project pack from Peartree Cutfiles. You can see the contents there just scrolling along on your screen. I will put the link in the description box down below if this is something you would like to purchase after seeing some of the layouts that I've created with it. If you do purchase the project pack, you will get photographs of the layouts and direct links to all of the project to all of the process videos sent directly to you. So I've decided for this particular layout to do something a little bit different with the stencil. I'm using the Simple Stories Love Story collection, and I've taken the stencil that comes with the project pack, these beautiful butterflies, and I've drawn around the wings of the largest of the butterflies. I didn't do the tiny ones because I knew I was going to have to do all of this with my craft knife, and I really didn't fancy doing the smalls. I also didn't think they'd come out too well. They'd be almost too small. So just chose the larger ones. I didn't draw around the bodies. I have not joined my pencil lines together in the middle. So as you can see there, the body stays attached to the paper and it allows me to just pop up the wings on both sides, if that makes sense. And I really like the way that looks. It's exactly, I tried just folding those two up just to make sure it was looking how I wanted it to look, and then carried on cutting around the rest when it did exactly what I wanted it to do. Don't worry, I don't make you watch me do all of this. It does take a little bit of time, a lot of moving the piece of paper around. The next thing I do is just take my rubber and rub out all of those pencil lines, slightly harder on the ones that I've already popped up. So if you're going to do this, I would recommend not popping the butterflies up first. I did accidentally crease one slightly while I was trying to rub it out, and I used a giant paintbrush there just to get rid of all of the little rubber pieces. And then I decided I wanted some more distressing, more of a sort of, not a distressed look. I knew that what I was going to do was have a darker piece of cardstock underneath this pink cardstock. So it's going to show through when the butterfly's wings are lifted. But I felt like it needed more to show through. So I decided to frame the page by drawing a pencil line 2 inches in from every edge, so that I could sort of tear it open a little bit and have these torn open edges. I haven't done this technique in forever, and it's something I really enjoy doing, and I think it's really, really effective, but it's one of those things that you sometimes forget that you can do, and then when you remember, you say, oh yeah, I'll try that, and I knew this would work on this particular page. So you're going to be able to see the pattern paper popping up through behind the butterflies and through those torn segments as well. I then realised as I've done this that it's not quite enough, so I decided to extend all of the lines. I just eyeballed it. I did not draw the pencil lines back in. I just kind of joined the sections back together, and I don't join them all up either. I do leave them separate. I wanted it to still obviously remain attached, and I'm literally using my fingernails and my fingers to do the distressing. I don't feel like I can get a tool in there. It would possibly ruin the edge or rip it slightly. I have folded 2 of the corners over because the butterfly kind of flourishes at one side. I folded 2 of those little inner corners over at the other side because I do like the green. And I have chosen that dark floral paper to go behind it because of the backdrop of the photograph. It's a wedding photograph of myself and my husband. We're actually stood in front of some sort of pine and fir trees, so it ends up being quite a dark backdrop, which I felt mirrored this paper really nicely, the pinks and the reds on the black. So what I'm trying to do now, it looks a bit strange. I'm just trying to gut a little section of the paper from the middle of the cardstock because I would like to back the photograph in it, and I realised if I just stuck, I haven't got any more of it, so I needed to just save a little bit of it to do that. You also saw me trim 1/4 inch off of each side of that light pink cardstock so that I could have a border going around the outside of the page as well. Again, I just felt it needed more of that darker colour to contrast against the light pink. I distressed all the way around the edge of the light pink as well, and then I've literally just stuck my photograph down onto that piece of the dark floral paper, and that's where my photograph is going to go. Now I'm just trying this out because I want to see if this will work. I felt the butterflies needed something, so I really wanted to add some little antennae on for them. So I tried it out with pencil first, and yeah, it does look okay. It does look right. So then I go over with a very fine black pen and just add some little antennae onto each little butterfly, and that just adds that extra bit of detail. So now I'm popping some double-sided sticky on the back of my pink cardstock. I do just fold back one corner of each. Having the tape there means that you can reposition it and move it around. Sorry, the backing of the tape there folded means you can kind of move it around before it sticks down properly, and then you don't end up in the situation where it sticks down in the wrong place. Using my tiny attacher from Tim Holtz to put some staples over those corners. Probably should have done that before I stuck the pink onto the black, but never mind. I'm then going to put my photograph in that little space. I've added some dimensional foam to the back of the photo as well. And just before I stick down my perfect title and my butterfly there, again from the project pack, I've decided to pull out some of the rub-ons. I love rub-ons. Especially, I know the 49er Market do loads, don't they? And Simple Stories have started doing some as well. I really, really like them. I think they add a really nice dimension. So I've just tucked those two under the photograph, and then just picking out a few more. I loved that little one there to go on the photo that says Our Love Story. Again, it's in black, so it kind of ties in with the colour theme that I've gone for. Pink and black is not something I would usually go for, but it works so well with this photo, like say having that sort of darker background. And very helpfully, I'm very thankful to my guests at the wedding who are actually all wearing, I mean my bridesmaids are wearing red anyway, but then the people in the shop are either wearing red or pink, so it all just worked out perfectly. So I'm just using my little tool there to rub on together, carefully peeling it off, making sure it's all stuck down, and then now going to do the big ones. This is a basic grey tool. They obviously don't make them anymore, but I managed to pick mine off eBay, and I absolutely love it. It's easier to get the rub-ons to come off rather than the plastic tools that you get, or the wooden lollipop sticks that you get in the packs. So I'm much happier with this tool. So yeah, just doing that final rub-on there and using the flat edge just to rub down the edges. There's a couple of edges that didn't quite stick. And then using some glossy accents to stick down my title. The reason I've done that straight away is because I know exactly where it's going. Just using my pokey tool to clean up the edges. There was a little bit of glossy accents that ended up like popping out from the side of where I'd stuck it down. Using both double-sided sticky and using glue to stick down my photograph, really make sure it's going to stick. Now you will watch me on this layout desperately try and get one of the flare on. The flare match perfectly, but because I've gone with such a square sort of theme to it, it just doesn't work, and I end up moving the flare around loads, and I don't think one ever makes it onto the page. That butterfly does though in the end. I've just poked some holes in my layout using my pokey tool, and I'm using some wax twine just to add a few little cross stitches to make it look like it's been sort of partially stitched together. And what I do is I do tie off the ends of my thread, but I also then do cover them in some magic tape just to make sure that there's no chance that they're going to come undone. And now I'm playing with the ephemera. I do play around quite a lot with the ephemera from this collection. This is my favourite bit though. I'll probably say this on every one of my videos, but this is my favourite bit. I absolutely love to play around with the bits and pieces and try and figure out where exactly they're going to go on the page, tucking them in, trying different places. It's yeah, I really enjoy just playing around, and I can spend hours doing this. I have actually cut some of this out so that you don't have to watch it all, but I do play around for quite some time. I wanted the idea of having, so you can see how the butterflies are moving around the photograph, and I liked the idea of having some flowers at the base where the butterflies seem to start on that bottom left of the photo, and then having more ephemera at the top right of the photograph where the butterflies sort of end up. So I hope that makes sense. I could have put so much ephemera on this page because so much of it matched perfectly, but I wanted to be really, I didn't want to put tons and tons and tons on. It's a reasonably small photograph, and I didn't want to subtract too much from that. Now what I'm doing is just using a mixture of foam dots and wet glue, and square foam pads to sort of stick everything down in the positions that they're in. I used to use silicone glue gel, which I do really like, but I found it, I kept filling up the little plastic syringy things that you use to apply it, and then it would dry up before I did my next layout, because I hadn't been doing that much scrapbooking last year. I've got much more back into it this year, but yeah, I used to use that to prop up the edges of things. I am finding personally foam pads is just easier for me now. So now I'm playing around with some more stickers. I've also pulled out some of those metal adhesive brads. I love those. I love them so much that I accidentally bought 2 packets. I didn't mean to. It was never the intention to get 2 packs, but yeah, accidentally got 2. So never mind, I will use them all, I'm sure. So I've just popped some, again, in that kind of diagonal line that's running across. Playing around, trying to decide, do I want anything else on this page? I'm desperate to get that flare on. It's just not working. It just, for me, on this particular page, like I say, I think it's because it's such a square image, it just doesn't work. So now my final thing is to come in with some white splatters, my favourite thing, just to finish off a layout. One thing I do off camera, I'm going to show you it close up in just a second, but one thing I do off camera is to add that butterfly, which I had forgotten to stick down, and he ends up just to the right of the photo. And here are some close-ups. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you go into the description box below, you will find links to this project pack and all the other project packs we do at Peartree Cutfiles. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.